The silence in that boardroom was deafening. 23 investors sat frozen, staring at the contract in disbelief. My father's face drained of color. My mother's mouth fell open. My brother, the golden child who tormented me for years, actually stumbled backward. Because there it was, printed in bold letters. The company they'd mocked me for starting, the pathetic venture they said would never amount to anything, had just been acquired for $847 million. But that wasn't even the bombshell that shattered their world. No. What came next would expose a family secret so devastating, so twisted, that it would make headlines across 3 countries and land 2 of them behind bars. The acquisition was just the beginning. The real story, the real revenge, was what I've been planning for the past 5 years. Before we dive into how I orchestrated the perfect takedown of the family that destroyed me, make sure to subscribe to the channel and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from around the world. Maya had always been invisible in her own family. While her brother Lucas basked in endless praise for his mediocre grades and trust fund lifestyle, Maya worked 18-hour days in her cramped studio apartment, coding until her fingers bled, and surviving on instant noodles and determination. Every family dinner was the same ritual of humiliation. Her father would boast about Lucas's latest achievement, a participation trophy in tennis, a C+ in business school that somehow became a stellar academic performance. Meanwhile, Maya's actual accomplishments were dismissed with eye rolls and cruel laughter. "Still playing with your little computer games," her mother would sneer, not even bothering to look up from her wine glass. "When are you going to get a real job like your brother?" "She's a parasite," Lucas would chime in, smirking as he cut into his steak. 26 years old, and still chasing fairy tales. Some people never grow up. Her father would nod approvingly. "Dead weight. That's what she is. Dead weight dragging this family down." But what they didn't know, what Maya had spent 3 years carefully hiding, was that their dead weight daughter had been quietly building something extraordinary. While they slept in their comfortable beds, Maya was revolutionizing an entire industry. While they mocked her dreams, she was turning those dreams into code, into algorithms, into something that would soon catch the attention of the biggest players in Silicon Valley. The family that called her worthless had no idea they were living with a sleeping giant. And Maya, she was about to wake up. The engagement party was supposed to be Lucas's night to shine, but it turned into Maya's public execution. 200 guests filled the elegant ballroom, family friends, business associates, everyone who mattered in their social circle. Maya had arrived quietly, hoping to blend into the background, but her father had other plans. "Ladies and gentlemen," his voice boomed through the microphone, "tonight we celebrate not just my son's engagement, but the success of our family's golden child." The crowd applauded as Lucas beamed beside his stunning fiancée, Elena. Lucas has built an empire with his marketing firm, just closed a 7-figure deal this month. Maya shifted uncomfortably near the back, knowing what was coming next. Now we all have family members who've struggled to find their place in the world. Her father's eyes found Maya across the room. My daughter Maya, bless her heart, is still trying to figure out what she wants to be when she grows up. 26 years old, and still living in that tiny apartment, playing with computers like it's going to magically turn into a career. The crowd tittered with uncomfortable laughter. Maya felt her cheeks burn as hundreds of eyes turned to stare at her. "Some children make you proud," her father continued, raising his glass toward Lucas. "Others make you wonder where you went wrong as a parent." Elena, elegant and poised in her designer gown, glanced back at Maya with a mixture of pity and disdain. Her expression said everything. "So this is the family disappointment I've heard so much about." Maya stood there, absorbing every cruel word, every pitying look, every whispered comment about the black sheep who couldn't get her life together. But inside, she was calculating, planning, because in exactly 72 hours, every person in that room would know the truth. and her father's words would become the most expensive speech he'd ever given. 3 days after the engagement party, Elena cornered Maya in the kitchen during Sunday brunch. The family was outside on the terrace, Lucas holding court with his usual bragging session, completely oblivious to the conversation that was about to change everything. "So, Maya," Elena said, pouring herself coffee with studied casualness, "what exactly do you do for work? I mean, beyond the computer stuff your family mentions." Maya hesitated, measuring her words carefully. "I work in tech. Software development, mostly AI integration platforms." "That's interesting." Elena's voice carried genuine curiosity now. "Which company?" "It's called Neuralbridge Solutions." Maya watched Elena's reaction closely. "We specialize in seamless AI integration for enterprise-level applications." The coffee cup slipped from Elena's fingers, shattering against the marble floor. Her face went completely white. "Did you just say Neuralbridge Solutions?" Maya nodded slowly. Elena stared at her for a long moment, pieces clicking together in her mind. The neural bridge that just got featured on the cover of Tech Weekly? The one that Microsoft tried to acquire for $3 billion? The company that every major corporation is desperately trying to partner with? That would be the one. Elena's voice dropped to barely a whisper. "Wait, you're the founder?" The question hung in the air like a loaded weapon. From the terrace, they could hear Lucas's voice droning on about his latest client acquisition, a modest $50,000 contract he'd been bragging about for weeks. The irony was suffocating. Maya simply smiled. "I am." Elena looked toward the terrace, then back at Maya, her expression shifting from shock to something that looked almost like horror. Because she was beginning to realize that the family she was about to marry into had spent years destroying the reputation of someone who could buy and sell them all without blinking. Elena didn't waste a single second. She marched straight onto the terrace, where Lucas was mid-sentence, bragging to a captivated audience about his revolutionary marketing strategies. The entire family looked up as she approached, her face a mask of cold fury. "Lucas," she said, her voice cutting through his presentation like a blade. "We need to talk. Now. Babe, I'm kind of in the middle of. Did you know your sister founded Neuralbridge Solutions?" The terrace went dead silent. Lucas's confident smile flickered. "What?" "No, Maya doesn't. She just does some coding or whatever." "Neuralbridge Solutions, Lucas. The company that's worth over $4 billion. The one that turned down your job application last month." Maya felt the air leave the terrace as every head swiveled between her and Lucas. Her brother's face cycled through confusion, denial, and then pure, devastating realization. That's impossible," her father stammered, rising from his chair. "Maya doesn't run anything. She can barely." "She can barely what, Dad?" Maya stepped forward, her voice eerily calm. "Barely manage the company that your precious son begged to work for? Barely handle the algorithms that power the software your own investment firm uses every single day? Barely run the business that just acquired Henderson Marketing Group?" Lucas went white. You didn't." "Oh, but I did." Maya's smile was razor-sharp. "Congratulations, little brother. You now officially work for me. Have for the past 6 months, actually. Every paycheck you've been bragging about, it comes from my company. Every client you think you landed, they're my clients. That 7-figure deal you've been celebrating, I approved it personally." Elena slowly pulled the engagement ring from her finger. The sound of it hitting the stone terrace echoed like a gunshot. "You lied to me, Lucas. About everything. Your success, your achievements, your entire life. You're not a self-made businessman. You're an employee. At your sister's company. The sister you've spent years calling worthless." "Elena, wait, I can explain." "Explain what?" "That you've been living off the success of the woman you humiliated every opportunity. That your entire identity is built on lies. She turned to Maya's parents, her voice dripping with disgust. And you too, calling your daughter dead weight while she's literally funding your lifestyle. Do you have any idea how pathetic this makes you all look? Maya's mother tried to salvage the situation. Sweetheart, if this is true, we're so proud. Don't. Maya's voice could have frozen fire. Don't you dare try to backtrack now. Every guest here heard Dad's speech 3 days ago. Every person in this room watched you tear me apart for your entertainment. And now they all know the truth. She looked around at the stunned faces, family, friends, and business associates, all staring in horrified fascination. You want to know something really beautiful about this moment? By tomorrow morning, this story will be in every social circle in the city. The family that destroyed their billionaire daughter for sport. Lucas, your reputation in this industry is finished. Dad, your investment clients are going to love hearing how you publicly humiliated the founder of their most valuable tech partner. Mom, your cherry board positions? Good luck keeping those when everyone discovers you raised a daughter worth more than this entire neighborhood combined and spent decades calling her worthless. Elena was already walking away, but she turned back one final time. Lucas, have someone collect your things from my apartment. And Maya, she paused. I'm sorry I believed their version of who you were instead of seeing who you actually are. As Elena disappeared into the house, Maya looked at her family, her father pale and trembling, her mother gripping her wine glass like a lifeline, her brother standing there in his expensive suit that Maya's money had probably paid for, his entire world crumbling around him. The really twisted part, Maya said softly, I actually would have forgiven you. All of it. The years of abuse, the humiliation, the constant cruelty. I would have brought you into my success, shared everything with you, if you had just once, shown me an ounce of love or respect. Her voice hardened. But you couldn't even do that. So now you get to live with the consequences. All of you. She turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and Lucas? You're fired. Clean out your desk by Monday. The destruction was swift and merciless, spreading through their social circle like wildfire. Maya didn't need to say another word. The truth had its own brutal momentum. Within 48 hours, Lucas had become a social pariah. Elena's friends, all prominent socialites with massive Instagram followings, couldn't resist sharing the story. Can you believe he built his entire identity around success that belonged to his sister? The hashtag fake success brother started trending locally. His colleagues at what was now Maya's company avoided him in hallways, whispering behind his back. The man who'd once commanded every room with his arrogance now ate lunch alone, scrolling through social media posts that dissected his humiliation in excruciating detail. Their parents fared even worse. Maya's father's investment firm started hemorrhaging clients the moment word spread that he'd publicly destroyed his daughter, the same daughter whose company powered their portfolios. How can we trust your judgment on investments when you couldn't even recognize a billionaire in your own family? One client asked during their termination meeting. The country club whispers follow them everywhere. There go the people who call their tech mogul daughter dead weight. Their dinner invitations dried up overnight. Maya's mother, who'd built her entire social identity on charity galas and exclusive luncheons, found herself frozen out of every committee, every board, every social circle that had once welcomed her. The other socialites' cruelty was surgical in its precision. Oh, Patricia, we'd love to have you plan the fundraiser, but we worry about your judgment. After what happened with your daughter, Maya watched it all unfold from her penthouse office, never lifting a finger to accelerate their downfall. She didn't need to. The truth was doing all the work, choking them on their own years of cruelty with methodical efficiency. 3 weeks after the engagement party, they came crawling back. All 3 of them stood outside Maya's apartment building like broken supplicants, her father's once proud shoulders hunched in defeat. Maya, sweetheart, we need to talk. Her mother pleaded through the intercom, her voice cracking. We made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But we're family. We didn't mean it. Lucas added desperately. The things we said, the way we treated you, we didn't understand. Please, you have to forgive us. I've lost everything. Elena won't return my calls. My career is over. People cross the street when they see me coming. Her father's voice was barely a whisper. I know we don't deserve it, but we're begging you. Help us fix this. We'll do anything. We'll tell everyone we were wrong. We'll publicly apologize. Just please, don't let us lose everything. Maya stood at her floor-to-ceiling windows, looking down at them huddled on the sidewalk like strangers begging for change. For a moment, she felt something that might have been pity. Then she remembered every cruel word, every dismissive laugh, every time they'd made her feel like she was nothing. She picked up the intercom. You didn't mean it. Her voice was ice. You spent 26 years perfecting your cruelty toward me. You turned humiliating me into an art form. You didn't slip up or have a bad day. You systematically destroyed my self-worth for your own entertainment. And now that the world knows who I really am, suddenly you didn't mean it. Maya, please. You want to know the difference between us? When I had nothing, I still treated people with basic human dignity. When you had everything, you chose to be monsters. That's not a mistake. That's who you are. She paused, watching them through the window. The beautiful thing about karma is that I don't have to do anything else. You're choking on your own poison now. Every social rejection, every whispered comment, every door that slams in your faces, that's not my revenge. That's just the natural consequence of being terrible people. The intercom went silent. Maya watched them stand there for another 10 minutes before finally walking away, their heads hanging in defeat. She never spoke to them again, because sometimes the most devastating revenge isn't what you do to your enemies. It's simply letting them live with the truth of who they really are. Maya never saw her family again. She didn't need to. Their public humiliation became legendary in their social circles, a cautionary tale whispered at dinner parties about the dangers of underestimating the quiet ones. Lucas never recovered his reputation and eventually moved to another state, working dead-end jobs under a cloud of shame. Their parents became social ghosts, their investment firm collapsed, and they spent their remaining years as pariahs in the very community where they'd once reigned supreme. Maya. She built her company into a global empire, appeared on magazine covers as one of the youngest tech billionaires in history, and married a brilliant fellow entrepreneur who saw her worth from day one. She never spoke about her family publicly. She didn't need to. Their story told itself. The most exquisite part of her revenge was its simplicity. She didn't plot elaborate schemes or hire investigators or ruin them through illegal means. She simply let them destroy themselves with their own cruelty while she quietly became everything they claimed she'd never be. They called her dead weight while she was building an empire. They laughed at her dreams while she was turning them into billions. They humiliated her in public while she held their financial futures in her hands. In the end, their own arrogance became the weapon that destroyed them. Maya never lifted a finger against them. She only lifted the veil of truth. So tell me, was Maya's revenge too brutal, or did they get exactly what they deserved? Would you have shown mercy to a family that spent decades destroying your spirit, or would you have watched them choke on their own poison just like she did? Drop a comment and let me know, because something tells me the story is going to spark some very heated debates about justice, family, and whether some betrayals are simply unforgivable.